Hello, welcome to the What Does Aaron Know podcast featuring...
Well, Aaron Phillips, and what does he know? Hi, my name is Aaron Phillips. I'm your host, and with me today is he's my confidant, my best friend, my editor, and...
Your shrink.
Yes, but I'm also your shrink at the same time.
What is a shrink?
Psychiatrist.
Okay.
It's just another word for it.
Okay, that makes sense.
But he's also my editor, and the only one that I can actually bounce off ideas or talk about comic book nerdisms with, who actually understands what I'm going with.
Slightly. To a certain degree.
You understand more than most people.
I would agree with that to a certain
He's the
extent.
one, the only, I'm trying to think of a sidekick duo. He's my Nightwing to my Batman. No, he's my Nightwing to the Jason Todd. I call Jason, alright?
Isn't it why don't you just say Batman and Robin?
Because you're not a Robin, man.
So I'm Jason Todd.
No, you're Nightwing.
Oh,
I'm Jason
you're
Todd.
Jason Todd. Okay. The guy who gets mercilessly beat with a crowbar.
Yes.
And comes back for revenge later.
It's called life.
That
Working at Circle. No, I'm joking. It's called my job.
Yes. Okay, that makes sense.
So Jason Todd, Nightwing, but real names are Aaron Phillips, Zack, and we are going to start this show for you.
Yes, sir, or ma'am, or however pronouns work.
Do we really care about that?
No.
All right. So Zack, why don't you give us an idea on what we're going to start today with?
Well, we're going to cover a variety of topics today. Just in all manner of pop culture and things that are coming up that interest the two of us, and hopefully our interest and passion for these things will interest you and compel you to keep listening, and hopefully you're keeping up with this stuff too. Nothing we say is definitive. We're just having fun and hanging out. So thank you guys for tuning in. We're just going to get started on the most recent episode and just some of our general thoughts on WandaVision.
Nice.
I think it's been a very interesting show so far.
4 episodes, yeah.
Mm-hmm. My wife and I have been watching it, and we've just been having some really cool conversations about it. And me and Aaron have talked about it a little bit. So today will kind of be
merging the two ideas together.
Today is actually kind of the first time that we'll really be getting into talking about the show. So, Aaron, what are your overall impressions of the show, and then we'll get into the latest.
It's
episode.
good. It's very good on how it takes on. Mm-hmm. So it's set 3 weeks after the events of Endgame. Yeah. And right before Far From Home, Spider-Man Far From Home.
Okay. Yeah.
When he goes to London and everything like that.
Okay.
Because in episode 4 we hear, what's the girl's name?
There will be spoilers for WandaVision.
Yes, sorry about that. There will be spoilers. We apologize in advance if you haven't kept up with the series. If you have, you already know what we're talking about.
I'll definitely just go check it out and come back here. But go ahead, sorry.
What was her name again? Miranda?
Rambo.
Rambo.
Yeah.
Interesting fact, Rambo is the little girl that we see in Captain Marvel.
Yep.
And her mother started the Sword initiative. Mm-hmm. And another interesting fact is that her mother's nickname was Proton. Mm-hmm. Proton was actually a name of a superhero who had similar abilities to Captain Marvel, except instead of energy, it was more light rays and everything like that. So she could absorb energy, light, and all that, turning it into photon blast.
Very, very interesting.
Now, I don't know if they're going to work that in the show or in a future movie or something, but I doubt it.
Well, it's pretty dang cool. All the little details from the films and the comics that they work into these things.
Yeah, it is very cool.
That more than 90% of the people watching it will notice, but they have a love for it. That 10% will notice it, and it's worth them including it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They put the little details in there, which I think is really cool. You were just showing me in episode 4, Woo comes out.
Woo with the card trick.
Freaking Woo.
You gotta love James Woo.
Yeah, he's great. He comes out and he flips the little card out. From Ant-Man. Ant-Man does that little magic trick, and he's just so impressed by it. And
he's like, Scott, How'd you do the trick?
I was. We'll get into overall thoughts about the show before we get into episode 4. But I was surprised that they had the girl from Thor, the intern.
Yeah. Yep.
I can't remember her name. She's always been kind of like a silly side character.
Silly, like, little side character, yeah. And, what's funny is that they're showing that she's still around and helping the heroes in ways that are behind the scenes, and that's what S.W.O.R.D. does.
And it's cool. I thought she was just there, like, for fun. Like, in the first 2 Thor movies, she's just screwing around.
She's just like, hi.
But it's cool. She's like, whoa, this girl's actually smart. And she's actually started paying attention and started doing her own thing. But anyway, let's get into overall thoughts about just the show so far.
So I like how they do the old TV shows. Like, you see the Dick Van Dyke, Bewitched. We recently saw, like, the Brady Bunch kind of deal. So what it is like, I think, like, through each episode we're going to see, like, a different season of best shows era. So we went from 60s, 70s, 80s.
Well, 50s, 60s, 70s.
Right, 50s, 60s, and 70s. And during the 80s, it was more... I
think the one that it was in color, like when they have the twins.
Yeah.
The 3rd episode, that was 70s.
Yeah.
And then at the end of episode 4, the rock music came in. It's like, okay, this is 80s.
Yeah.
So I think 80s is the
80s is going to be more like MacGyver or something. You know, it's going to have action in it, but it's going to be more low-key kind of deal.
I think Vision's going to come in and he's going to have like a biker vest or something.
Oh, that'd be cool.
That'd be great. But now,
go ahead.
No, I've really enjoyed it. I've like just from the first episode, I like how self-aware it's been and the comedy.
Yeah.
And I
love the comedy.
I love that it's not that like Wanda and Vision have been like super underutilized or anything like that, but it's been really cool just to see them like, you know,
in a stereotypical American setting,
like in a setting where they're comfortable, like because they're really like extraordinary characters. So to see them like where they're just chill, that's been really cool.
But it's not there.
But it's not there. And what I think is really cool about the show is so like my parents have been watching it, and the first episode they were like, yeah, I don't think we're gonna tune into the second one because we were like, what was that even about? And now they're in.
They're into it.
They're into it because in episode 4, they pull out that CRT. They pull out the old TVs, and you literally have all the characters sitting around watching the sitcom, and they're like, "What is going on?" Like, they're asking the same questions that my parents were asking, and now my parents are like, "Oh, we're into this now."
Yeah,
like,
you're just like, huh?
There's like a self-awareness to it that makes it like really interesting.
That was my first question watching the first episode. I was like, what in the world is going on here?
And at least on the surface, it seems like Wanda has created this like reality because she's had so much. We'll get into more
of that.
On the surface.
On the surface,
it looks like Wanda has created a reality.
You're close.
Because Wanda has not had a good life.
No, she has not. She's had her brother die, the love of her life die, who was an android. She's been blinked out of existence, brought back to existence.
So she's just like, you know what? It's in my ability to create a reality. She's like, I'm gonna do it.
Yeah.
So, but what do you think is the, like, how deep does this go?
Oh, this goes so deep.
Yeah.
Brief history. There was a comic book issue called House of M. Okay? And what happened is that Scarlet Witch went so insane that she used her vast powers to cause the Earth to where mutants are the dominant species and humans are like the servants and slaves and basically the scum of the Earth. Wanda did that.
Yeah.
All by herself. Like, she was driven to the point of insanity to where she snapped. She like literally snapped to the point where she gave mutants the hierarchy.
Jeez.
So like you know how Magneto's been like mutant kind should be at the top of the food chain.
Yeah.
She made that reality.
Oh. Okay.
And that reality did become its own separate universe.
Like it branched off.
It branched off. It became its own separate universe. But so we go through the whole issue, trouble, and everything like that. Towards the end, Magneto's like trying to reason with her to get everything back to normal to where mutants are back on top, or there's no more humans. Wanda is like, you know what? I've been through so much pain, grief. I'm just tired of this. So she says 2 words that shape the entire fabric of the Marvelverse in general, and that is no mutants. The reality goes back to normal, okay? Reality goes back to normal, and the mutant population has dwindled.
Oh, shoot.
Like, there is probably like 2,000 out of the entire world of mutants.
Oh gosh.
So mutant society is just like, what in the absolute crap is going on here? And then eventually there's a mutant messiah who brings back the mutant population back to normal, and everything gets fixed in the end.
Yeah.
But what I think the MCU is doing right now is more their version of House of M. Okay. To where she's created her own little pocket dimension to where Vision's fine. She has 2 twin boys, to where everything is to her American ideal.
Like the way she sees like the American dream, because she's like Sokovian.
Yeah.
So it's really, she has this idea. The only thing she like when she came over to New York to be like in the Avengers facility, whatever.
She probably watched a lot of old TV shows and everything like that.
She probably like that's her understanding of like America, and she's like, oh, this is perfect, and I want to form this. But what I really love is like this is all in her mind. And say Wanda's a computer, right? She only has so much processing power to make everything work properly. Right. So, like, when Vision goes outside to see his neighbor is literally chainsawing through the freaking brick wall. He's like, oh, hey, Vision. Like, it's not even a big deal.
And you're just like, what?
And, like, there's some super unsettling moments in the show where, like, something starts happening.
And then it like, reverses back to scene, and it just plays out different.
It just makes the hairs on your arms stand up like, oh, this is weird.
Like,
disturbing.
Like the episode when, the same episode you were talking about where the neighbor is cutting through the chainsaw. Like, at first Vision is saying, hun, I think something is very wrong here. And then it goes back like 10 seconds, and he's like, oh, hun, I think we'll be perfectly fine. You're just like, wait a minute.
And the laugh track is back, and everyone's laughing.
And you're just like, wait a second.
And from the very first episode, I was like, there's something going on with Wanda, because like the guy came out of the
manhole cover.
The manhole cover, and the guy was choking. That scene was freaking terrifying. And she's just like, no. And like it rewinds. So, yeah, I think the MCU, the direction, and we'll talk more about this later because we're going to get into some stuff with Spider-Man, the third Spider-Man. With the snap and the stuff with Doctor Strange coming up with the multiverse, and then you have this, I think the future of the MCU is like reality is like...
what you want it to be.
Is what you want it to be, but it's also like it's falling apart.
Yeah.
And like, what are people gonna do to preserve like the truth and like what reality actually is? I think that's some of the just as far as like the story themes go. Yeah. And I think it'll make for some really interesting like stories.
And you gotta remember, it's like what, 5 years after this first snap, and then everybody resnaps. So you not only has the population grown, like tried to refill the 5-year gap almost, but then you have the entire population that disappeared just returned, so you've got more people than there should be.
Yep, and like I really like that scene, like the opening of episode 4, when like you start to see her skin cells floating around, and you're like, whoa, what is that?
Yeah.
And she reforms, and the hospital's full, and everyone's freaking out.
They're like, where's my wife, or where's my, like, her's like, where's my mom? She died 2 years ago. And I'm like, wait, what?
Like, the consequences of reversing the snap
is
like,
way bigger than...
Like, you have people that just reappear in the sky that were, like, in an airplane or something.
Whoa.
Just, like, plummeting to the earth. Like, you have a lot of crazy stuff like that going on.
My theory is that people aren't... a plane is moving. Okay, yes. But the people are on the plane, okay? So the plane is a solid object.
Okay.
They're on a solid object, and the plane is moving. It lands because it had an emergency landing. They don't appear in the sky. They appear in the plane.
Okay.
Because the plane was their space. They weren't just flying in empty space or the air. So whenever they're on the plane, they're in their own space. They were taken out of that space.
Okay.
And when they came back, they were put back into the space.
Okay, I buy that. I actually really buy that. Because, a plane is pressurized. It has its own, like, makeup to it. That makes sense. Okay.
So everybody's like, oh, people are falling out of the sky, or people are, in space dying. No.
Not necessarily.
If there is atmospheric pressure, if there is solid ground, if there is a place for them to sit, stand, or whatever, then they are not going to just randomly appear in the sky. They are going to actually be flying.
Gotcha. Okay. No, I buy that. Either way, it's just utter chaos.
Yeah, it's still utter chaos because you have a guy who was sitting in his car wrecked, okay? Like, after the snap, he comes back, and the seat, and, he's fine, but the steering is, like, near his chest, and he's like, what the...
Yeah, like, so you have a lot of people coming back in really interesting situations.
Now...
and it makes for a lot of really cool stories.
Yeah. Now, the plane thing, everybody's like, well, what if the plane crashed and the people disappeared? Okay. Then how's that? Well, they're on the ground, okay, and the plane is still there because you probably don't have enough people to pick up plane parts and everything.
Yeah.
So they're going to appear where they were in their seats. So if a seat is turned sideways, the guy's going to appear sideways and then fall out of the seat.
Yeah, gotcha. So you still have people waking up in some bad situations.
There's one guy and just like, oh, this is a nice neighborhood. Snap. 5 years later, re-snaps like, where did all the drugs come from?
It's like a overrun
crime area, and like,
it's bad.
It's bad.
Yeah. No, but it's really interesting. I like in Far From Home. The teacher who's like, yeah, my wife had a funeral for me and everything, and she ran off with another guy, and
you feel bad for people.
You feel
like
bad
that.
for people because it's like, but also I think it's cool because it's like actions have consequences like either way.
Yeah. And
the Avengers were like, it's still worth it. Like all that life, it's still worth like people coming back. So I thought that was cool. But yeah, any more to add to WandaVision, or are we just gonna see where it goes from here? We'll definitely talk about it more in the future. Anything else to add?
Yes. So this is a spoiler. At the end of episode 4, we see Vision like he should be, with his skull crushed in and the gem gone.
Excuse me. Yeah, that freaked me out.
Yeah. So, but he's still moving and talking. Okay. So go ahead. What I'm thinking is that Wanda, not only is she making the reality, but she's powering Vision enough to have him walk around and talk like she wants him to, but not bring him fully back to life.
Okay, so what I was thinking was that she actually that's a person. Because you know how they're filling in the cast. Like they're like, okay, this person, Wanda has him playing this person.
Right.
Her. So I was like, who's playing Vision? But what you just said, it might actually be Vision.
Yeah, because you got to remember, Wanda's powers come from
the same thing.
The Mind Stone.
The same thing that Vision is powered from.
Right, and her powers, you know, she developed them more, so they became more of the Reality Stone.
Yeah.
So she actually has, you know, reality-based powers. So it could be that she's reanimated him enough to be there, but, you know.
I feel like it either has to be his dead body or another human being. Both are quite morbid.
Who plays Vision?
Paul Bettany.
It's probably Paul Bettany, you know, like an American, like like Vision's lookalike. Paul Bettany playing Vision.
Possibly, because he could morph into
a human
in Infinity War. Like he could look like Paul Bettany.
Yeah.
So I don't think it's like a lookalike.
No. What I mean is like she found a guy that looks like Vision, and she's like made him think he has all the abilities and everything like that.
That's very possible.
And you know it's Paul Bettany lookalike as Vision.
I gotcha.
Yeah, something
very
like that.
possible. All right.
But that's all I've got on WandaVision. I'm just hoping that the next episode is going to be another good one.
Yeah, that I think it's had a really strong track record. Like each episode has just gotten better, in my opinion. So for the MCU's like first, like there's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
Right.
But for like their first like mainline character show, I think they're knocking it out of the park.
Yeah.
I think they're really killing it. Okay.
Even though Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. still killed it.
Yeah.
But I love how the AMC had Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. This is Disney made. So
this is
Disney made is kicking it.
Like Marvel Studios. Like,
yeah,
and I think they're doing really good. All right, so we're gonna transition into Godzilla vs. Kong. What did you think of this trailer, Aaron?
Oh man, nerdist. Let's just say. I'm slowly dying here. I'm dying of so much awesomeness. Let's just say, like, the inner monster movie nerd in me just came out as, like...
just kind of, like, you go to make a noise and you just, like, squeak. Like, that's all... You're just
I'm just like...
Yeah, like, that's all you can do. I am actually very excited for this movie. I think it looks so dumb, but, like, in the best way. Like, I don't mean that in, like it looks stupid... But just like it looks like just the like shove popcorn in your mouth and just
you're just like there's
turn
like,
your brain off and just have a great time.
There's like 3 tubs of popcorn, both empty. You're sitting there shoving it in. The movie's been over for half an hour. The guy's like, "Sir, you have to leave." I gotta watch it again.
Yeah,
you haven't moved for like 5 hours.
It's just a good time.
It is.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about it. I grew up with Godzilla and the. I know everybody's always saying that about everything, but I have very, very distinct, very early memories of watching, like, the old Gorshira TV shows where, like, it was dubbed in English.
Oh my god, it's Godzilla!
And, like, and their mouths would move, like, 5 minutes later, or it would, like, cut away.
Yeah.
We're still recording. Sorry, we thought
we thought we were dead.
We thought we went out of... No, we're good.
Anyway.
But, yeah, so it's pretty dang cool to... And I'm also a fan of King Kong. Obviously, he's the best.
Peter Jackson's King Kong, though.
Yeah, that's a great movie.
That's a far one.
It's a very good movie. Not all the visual effects are, like, amazing as they were back then. Like, some of it has aged. But, like, just as a movie... Like,
it's still amazing.
They really killed it. But,
so, I watched a video on them making Kong Skull Island.
Yeah. What did you think of?
I liked it.
Yeah.
I liked it. I like how... And they even said that they took the idea of the original 1930 version and just updated it.
Yeah.
So, like in the 1930 war, in 1945, the female needs to be rescued and stuff like that. In Kong Island, or Skull Island, we're in 1970 after Vietnam War. And the girl isn't really one to be like, oh, I need a man for everything. She's just like, you know what? Give me a shotgun. I'll shoot them all.
Yeah.
But she's still like, and
from Captain Marvel herself.
Yeah, Brie Larson. But she's still like, it's nice to have a guy rescue me. Okay, dang it.
I admit it's nice.
It's nice, but I can fight my own battles.
Yep. With her little camera.
Yeah, but she, she needs a gun.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we also have Loki and Nick Fury in this.
Oh yeah, and freaking John Goodman.
John Goodman. It's John Goodman.
Yeah, John Goodman. It's just he's a good man.
He is.
I must say.
He's a good man, Charlie Brown.
So let me hear some of your thoughts on the trailer.
Okay, so I love how they're bringing in like there's actual history between Godzilla and Kong. Like Godzilla isn't some mutated lizard or something like that. Like he's an actual ancient species that fought against Kong's ancient ancestors,
which is amazing.
Yeah, because all we've known is that either Kong or Godzilla was mutated to be freaking 100 stories tall, and nobody's really explained how. But in this series, like the Mega Monster films, which is Godzilla, King of the Monsters, and King Kong Skull Island, those three films, I like how they're actually explaining the history of everything.
It is pretty cool that they're making an effort to flesh that out. Like, I don't even know, like, King Kong has, like, a massive axe in it, and it, like, gives me like, some Doom vibes. Does that make sense? It feels like something just, like, so 90s and so retro that it's just awesome. Like, King Kong has a massive axe, and I'm okay with it.
But what I find cool... And people are making memes of this already. You remember when, and we're going back to Marvel, you remember when Thanos was shooting the energy blast at Thor, and Thor came down with his new axe Stormbreaker? People are making that comparison with, towards the end of the trailer, when you see Kong come down with his axe towards Godzilla. Oh, yeah. Everybody's like, Marvel did that first.
Classic recreation.
But, no, I love that Kong's, not just fighting with his hands and his monkey, his ape abilities.
His ape abilities.
I will explain that in a second.
Yes.
But he's actually using, like, an axe or, like, a weapon to actually fight something that's breathing nuclear fire at him.
And they built that up in Skull Island. Like, he took the rudder off the ship with the chains, and he was swinging it around and taking out those things. Like, he's smart.
He is, yeah.
He's massive and he's huge and strong, but he also uses his environment in a way Godzilla can't.
Yeah, they say that Kong has is childlike, but he still is intelligence.
Oh yeah.
So
absolutely.
I think there's like two sides of him. One side is gentle, nice, and calm, and that he will protect you if you're not trying to hurt him. But the opposite side is where his intelligence or his battle mind just kicks in full gear, and he just goes completely brutal.
I know. Like he has a snapping point, and he just wrecks everything. And I love that in every iteration of King Kong, there's always been just like you were saying, that gentle, docile, very sweet, kind of funny.
Yeah.
But then he turns into a monster if you piss him off,
They actually explained in Skull Island behind the scenes that they didn't want to make Kong. They weren't trying to make Kong the bad guy. What they were trying to show is that Kong is actually is not just attacking the soldiers and everything at random. He's actually doing what he intends to do, and that's defend the island.
Yeah.
It's actually the soldiers and everyone else that's attacking. And the people that he lets go, he's, okay, you know what? We're chill. We're good. y'all. Sorry about the creepy bad guys and everything, but y'all have a good day.
Yeah, no, he's very peaceable and reasonable.
Yeah. Just as long as you're not trying to kill him.
Yes, exactly.
Which Samuel L. Jackson learned out that the hard way.
Yeah, jeez, that scene was incredible. Where he's just screaming at him. It's like, you're gonna die, man.
Like
but it's Samuel L. Jackson.
True.
It's just but it's interesting that King Kong is framed as the good guy, and
we don't know if he's framed as the good guy.
Well, like they're like Kong is our last hope, and they bring him in, and Godzilla is like the villain, quote unquote.
Yeah.
So what do you think that's all about? Do you think he's actually the villain, or do you think there's something more going on?
Well, they even say that something is disturbing Godzilla, and that's why he's attacking. Mm-hmm. So I actually do believe that there's some like higher big plot that's causing Godzilla to like attack.
Do you think it'd be like something nuclear messing with him?
I don't think nuclear. I'm thinking more like they were disturbing something that he wants to protect, like maybe his child.
Ooh.
Because you got to remember, Godzilla is a dad.
I vividly remember in the old one where there's a little baby Godzilla.
Yep.
And the freaking mantises come out and try to kill the baby. And then in the 1999 one with John Cusack.
Terrible one.
That's a horrible movie. But
we're using it for reference either way.
Godzilla gives birth to like millions of little raptors.
Raptorzillas, yeah.
And
so
yeah, I would love to see Babyzilla.
So my theory is that I have two theories. One theory is that they captured an egg, or like took the egg. Mama Godzilla died. Okay, like she was kept safe and everything. And when we see Godzilla in the first two films, he was actually coming up to make sure that she was safe, not only from the humans but from the monsters that we see attack. That would be a very good reason why Godzilla is just appearing and he's like, where did he come from? One theory is that they stole the egg and he's just like, okay, you know what? I was being nice. I was being nice. Now I'm coming after y'all.
Yeah, I can see that because he's at the very least indifferent about humans. Like he doesn't want to hurt anybody.
But at the same time, he's like, okay, there's a building destroyed. There's humans in that. Wasn't my fault. Even though I got knocked into it, but wasn't my fault.
He's a big boy. He has a hard time missing things. He's a big guy.
He's a giant lizard.
Yeah, he's a something. He's a big boy.
Yeah. But so they take the egg. They're trying to grow their own Godzilla, and he's just like, no, I'm not having it. There's no way in all the world I'm not having it. I want my kid back.
And there is a third element.
That's theory number two.
Theory number two, which we were actually just scrubbing through the video, expanding it, and just being like nerds and really.
We were being investigators. And
what do you think?
Mechagodzilla. Still the same idea that they took, but not the kid or anything. Like they took something from Godzilla, like some DNA or something important to him. He wants it back, but they're using it to power Mechagodzilla.
I think it's kind of like it's like the Jaegers from Pacific Rim. Like people are like, we need to create something to battle these monsters that we can control. Yeah. Like, because we can't control Godzilla.
No, but like I said, Godzilla doesn't really want to. He doesn't really care about us. He doesn't want to destroy us. He's just like, cool.
Every time he's come out, he's had a very distinct reason to.
Yeah.
Who do you think's gonna win? Who do you think's gonna come out on top?
Oh, my money's on Kong.
Money's on Kong.
Because, in the trailer we see they're being transported on a ship, and Godzilla breaks through the water, claws onto this aircraft carrier, and you just see Kong just wind up, take a swing at Godzilla, and that was a hard swing. That wasn't just like, like a gorilla swing. When I mean gorilla swing, gorillas don't like punch. They like just let their arm fly.
No, but he punched.
He punched. So there is intelligence that Kong knows how to fight. So he's like special forces monkey.
Yeah, he punched him hard. Like he almost took Godzilla down in like one punch. And yeah, just him using weapons. I hope it's not just like the typical like we fight until there's something bigger than us that we both have to fight.
Yeah.
Like, because that's usually how it goes. Like, you look at Batman v Superman or Civil War.
Yeah.
Well, no, Civil War actually kind of...
Civil War stayed to that point.
It transcended that. But, but I'm saying Kong, too. I think he has the advantage, and he's massive.
Yeah.
In this one. Like, he's just as big as Godzilla.
What I would love to see...
than him.
What I would love to see is they give him, like, a badge, a jacket, or something like that. With the SFM Special Force Monkey on logo, and it's just Kong like walking around with like this leather jacket, just like
I'm just picturing Kong with like a massive pair of aviators on, and like a green beret hat and a cigar.
Yes,
it's just like that should be in the movie.
Or you know how sometimes cops have like the badge on the chain or whatever, and it's swinging around, like it's the symbol on the chain. It's swinging around. He pulls up a chair to Godzilla and is like, "Look, I know we have our differences, but you need to tell me who's moving the cocaine."
And Godzilla's just like, or just like,
so it's Freddy. All right.
Forgive me for that impression. That was a somewhat...
That was a good one.
That was horrible.
That was a good one.
Okay.
That was like whenever he's screeching but without the roar.
Yeah. That's pretty much... And Godzilla's roar is just iconic. There's just nothing like Godzilla's...
So the roar that we hear in the new Godzilla movies is actually the original roar from the older movies, but just amplified more.
Oh yeah, it's like... I went and saw, like, when they did the first reboot of Godzilla, the one with Bryan Cranston and Aaron Taylor Johnson or whatever. I went and saw that in, like, IMAX. And the sound, when he first came in, was just like, holy frick, So I want to go see this one in IMAX. That would be
Well, it was funny. Everybody was mad because, at first nobody could see Godzilla. They only got glimpses of like his foot and everything.
It was very,
and then when he appeared, everybody was just like, oh. Oh.
Dude, I may have cried. Like when his foot, like they're in the airport and his foot stomps down and it just pans up. And
it's
like,
just like
and he does that roar like a tear just like rolled down my face.
I watched, I was like, we're screwed.
Yeah. Which I'm not the biggest fan of that movie. It's just like it was solid. It's okay.
But you weren't just like, I'm wearing Godzilla merchandise every day.
Yeah, no. But that scene. I will never forget that scene.
And then King of the Monsters, whenever he's fighting the three-headed one.
I actually haven't seen King of the Monsters.
It's good.
Is it good?
But whenever he's fighting the main bad guy, he's like trying to dodge two heads while trying to attack one. So he's got to do some like crazy crap.
Ooh, I'm gonna have to go home and watch that.
There's one character that's called Mothra.
Oh yeah.
Turns like into an ally, heals him, and you know how his flame turns blue? It like goes from blue to like this super hot red.
Ooh. That
just melts the bad guy. You're just like, okay, we have officially entered into danger zone here.
Dang. Well, I'm excited to watch that. I don't know why I haven't seen that. I have no idea why I haven't.
Because people are like, oh well, the first one was okay. The second one's probably terrible. No, the second one's actually really good.
Okay, I'll have to check that out. Anything else you have to add to the conversation about?
You and me are going to take days off when it comes out. Grab $30 worth of snacks, sneak them into the theater, and we're going to have our own private little theater and watch the entire movie.
That sounds incredible. And we'll do an entire podcast
afterwards
and review.
Yes.
And we'll review the film.
If this series takes off.
Yeah.
If this takes off. If not, we'll do a video.
Yeah.
One of the two.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
Anywho.
Okay, awesome. So we're going to move into
Phase 4.
Phase 4 of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. It's going to be very interesting. We kind of talked a little bit about some stuff in our WandaVision discussion.
Yes.
But Aaron, where do you think Phase 4 is going to go? So like Phase 1, you set up Iron Man, Thor, the first Avengers, you set up Thanos, and it builds all the way up to Thanos being paid off. The Infinity Saga. So now it's kind of a fresh slate, and it could go
either way. Yeah.
So what do you think? I'll ask you two things. Where do you think it's gonna go, and who do you think the big bad of Phase 4?
I think it's going to go to where we're going to be finally introduced to the MCU's Fantastic Four, their X-Men, their other big name superheroes that we haven't had yet. That hopefully in Doctor Who Madness of the Multiverse that we are introduced into. Like they all come from different universes and they merge the universe into one, so we get,
So do you think they're going to reboot X-Men, or do you think they're going to use previous lore and just merge the two?
I think they're going to do both.
Okay.
Reboot it by still having either James McAvoy or...
so I'd love for James McAvoy to come back.
Because he was a very excellent Professor Xavier.
Yeah, you can't get much better.
Or
Patrick Stewart was great.
Or Patrick Stewart. Have them still remain as Professor Xavier. Have certain actors still remain their certain characters, like Cyclops and Nightcrawler. But for like Wolverine and other characters, like the reboot series, have different actors play, but still have the lore attached to them.
Okay. Yeah.
So both of them at the same time, and then they merge into our world. And I also think that's how they're going to bring a Tony Stark back.
Yeah, so just on the whole X-Men thing, I agree. I think they're going to pull from both, and they've already confirmed they're making a Fantastic Four movie, right?
Yeah, yes, they just haven't released who they're picking.
Okay, gotcha.
I want John Krasinski.
That would be fantastic.
As Jim from The Office.
Emily Blunt
as Sue.
And then
Ben Grimm and Johnny are too hard. I kind of like Zac Efron as Johnny.
I could see that. And
I could see it.
Zac Efron's been doing enough recently to where he's more legitimized.
Yeah, instead of High School Musical.
Yeah, like Robert Pattinson. Like people are starting to take Zac Efron just a little bit more seriously. But as for Grimm, the thing,
Ben Grimm.
I
don't know.
I don't know. Like I would want Tom Hardy.
Yes.
Tom Hardy is in everything. So
and he's also Venom. So I mean.
If I could choose a new Wolverine, I would want Tom Hardy to be the new Wolverine. As well. So it's just too hard.
Have you ever seen the movie, or have you ever heard of the TV show Son of Anarchy?
Yeah.
The main character from that, he could be a good Wolverine.
Him and Clint Eastwood's son, Scott Eastwood, could be a good Wolverine.
Or the guy who... Have you ever seen the movie Arthur?
No.
It's got Jude Law in it, and it's basically the retelling of Arthur, King, pulling his sword out and everything. But what it is that Arthur is, instead of being a prince or whatever, he's actually like a thief. And he goes about running the backwoods or the back trade to help people, and eventually he becomes the king. And I think that actor would be really good. He was also in the movie called Writer or something like that. I don't remember.
Interesting.
I'll show you. I'll show you who it is later.
Very interesting.
But he could be it. But Ben Grimm, you remember the first Fantastic movie?
Yeah.
The Ben Grimm. I kind of like how they made it more like he's encased in it, like a suit instead of CGI.
Yeah.
So I kind of would want that, but just a hint of CGI still.
That's usually the best when they find a blend of practical and CGI. That's always the best.
But I don't know who could play Ben Grimm.
It'll be interesting. They'll find somebody. It'll be good. And so going back like 5 minutes ago, you mentioned Tony Stark coming back. I hope they don't. I hope like maybe they could do it in an interesting way, but not like him actually coming back.
Like an AI or something like him.
Yeah, because I think the ending of Endgame and like
should be the end of Tony Stark.
The character arcs of Tony and Captain America were just so like beautiful.
Yeah. And
so well done. I think it would be like a disservice to like
bring them back
to try to shoehorn them back in. I think, but
well,
doesn't mean they won't do it though.
True.
Because money,
money and fans and everybody complaining and
if we hear Tony Stark's coming back, it's like I'm gonna go see it.
Yeah.
Because I want to see more.
I want to see Tony.
Yeah.
But no, in Phase 4, we're also getting vampires in the new Blade movie. We're getting more of Widow's backstory. So we're getting the Russian Avengers, which is the Guardian. No, not the Guardians. Winter Guard.
I love that they have the guy who plays Hopper
from Stranger Things as Red Guard.
Again? I know his name. He's actually one of my favorites. I just can't think of it right now.
But
it doesn't really bother me.
But no, I do agree with you. That's going to be perfect. What I would like to see them do is try as hard as they can to bring back or bring into the light the fact that there is more, because we've been focusing on American or like Wakanda-based heroes. I would like to see more from the Japanese side.
Like there's heroes all over the world.
Yeah.
Like and they're like we got a little bit in Doctor Strange and Black Panther.
Yeah.
But there's other people out there and they all have different and that's not even just like because it's like politically correct or whatever.
Right.
It's just because it's actually like interesting. Like it is interesting to see different kinds of heroes, which they're doing. What is it, Sheila?
Chelong.
Yeah, whatever that's called. They're doing. He's like I know nothing about that character.
He's like he's one of the kung fu master.
Yeah, that would be dope.
And the guy you're thinking of from Stranger Things is David Harbour.
Oh yeah. I love him.
Yeah, he's always funny.
He's great.
But no, what I would love to see is if they, introduce the world to some more heroes. Because you've got Union Jack, which is basically like Britain's version of Captain America. But he doesn't have the serum or anything like that. But he's basically like the top spy.
Yeah, and I think the cool thing about the MCU, just even so far, is just like anything's possible. Yes. Like they've shown that they've been willing to take like some of the most obscure things and make it awesome. And I think so that's I think that's why it's so exciting going in the future. It's like what other crazy things are they gonna do? And but I think we talked a little bit just about like in WandaVision that I think everything's getting really trippy and like realities and multiverses and
everything is clashing together.
It's all clashing as like a result of the snap, as a result of like Doctor Strange and Wanda and a bunch of stuff. So do you have anything else to say on this, or do you want to move right into the thing that actually is talking about this?
Let's move on.
Okay, so Spider-Man 3.
God, thank you.
the Tom Holland MCU
version
Spider-Man
that we have come to know and love.
With maybe the exception of Guardians 3.
True.
This is my most anticipated movie from the MCU going
And this has the most like theories, fan base, conspiracies, just so much around it.
There's so much potential for this movie. There's also a lot of room for disaster.
True.
But
have they given us disaster recently?
No. And I think the Tom Holland Spider-Man movies have been really, really solid, if not great. And I think they're gonna kill this one. I think they looked at the animated Spider-Verse movie.
Probably.
And they're like, look how successful this movie was. And they're like, why don't we apply this to
our kind of Spider-Man?
So, yeah, there's a lot of... It's not even... Is it rumors still, or is it pretty much just confirmed that...
It's partial rumors and partial confirmation that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are going to be in this one.
They're going to be in it.
They're going to, yeah. But there's also rumors and confirmation that we're going to see some old Spider-Man villains, not from Tom Holland's era, but from Tobey Maguire and Andrew Garfield. Like, we're going to see Electro, because Jamie Foxx accidentally spilled the beans. He's just like, you know what? It's great to come back as Electro. And everybody's like, wait, what? Beg your pardon? He's like, ah, crap. But, so... I'm excited. I hope they bring back Electro. Who was in the first?
Green Goblin.
No, I was talking to Andrew Garfield. The Lizard.
The Lizard.
I hope they bring back the Lizard, Electro, Dr. Octopus. Who played Green Goblin? William Dafoe. William Dafoe's Green Goblin.
Molina, I believe. I may be wrong. I think I saw that Alfred Molina. In the comments, you guys can correct me. But I'm pretty sure I saw that Alfred Molina is going to be in it too. So
Please.
Doc Ock is another confirmed.
Please let us have Doc Ock back.
I think so. I saw that.
But that's just for... Because I think they're setting up for the Sinister Six kind of deal. And I would just love to see them, like Peter's like fighting the Sinister Six. It's like halfway through the movie. There's like 2 hours left in the movie, or like an hour 30. And Andrew and Toby just show up in their Spider-Man outfits. Like, hey kid, need some help? And he's like, where were you guys?
Dude, I've heard rumors that it could be a two-parter.
Ooh!
That it could be a two-part
movie.
Like the first one is like similar to the Deathly Hallows Part 1 and 2. That the first one sets up like the rules and what's happening, and kind of like Infinity War and Endgame.
Yeah.
And then it'd be a quadrillary. A quadrillary. How do you say that?
Quadrillary.
Like there's a trilogy. Yeah, that doesn't sound right. But so it'd be a 4-part Spider-Man series, which would be awesome.
That would be pretty cool.
But that would make sense because they'd get to set up so much
of the character's background,
and then they'd be adequately equipped to just nail and kill the end of it and bringing in all the characters and give everybody time because that's so many characters and that's so much to cover.
Yeah.
So.
There's actually, do you remember, it's either Spider-Man 1 or 2, no, Spider-Man 2, when they're trying to pick a name for Dr. Octavius, Doc Ock, in the newsroom, and he's giving out ideas, and the guy says, what about Doctor Strange? That would be perfect, but it's already taken.
It's taken, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So people are thinking that Doctor Strange has been around longer than he has in the MCU world, okay? Now listen. He's been around longer in the MCU world that he's actually traveled to different dimensions, and that the house that he lives in is inhabiting the same spot in each dimension, okay? So, like, Greenwich Villa, his house is right where it's always been in the city, okay? And that he's made his presence known in the other universes. So, you know...
Bro, that just melted my mind.
That just opens so many more possibilities.
There's no way, like back in freaking 2000, was it 2004 when 2 came out?
4 or 6.
That like, because Sam Raimi is directing.
Yeah.
The Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah.
Which is madness. That, like, he name-dropped Doctor Strange. Okay, I'm tripping, man. This is weird.
He just name-dropped Doctor Strange, like, that far back.
And Doctor Strange is more than likely what's going to be connecting everybody.
So, they could, like, the 2 Spider-Man could fall through a portal, end up in the MCU universe. Anything is possible, man. Anything is possible.
Gosh. This is nuts.
And you know what would be cool? Mm-hmm. At the very, when they're about to say goodbyes, and you remember in the animated movie, Spider-Verse, you see them all in their settings and their suits and all, that at the end, Tom gives Andrew and Toby, like, an upgrade to their suits, and you see, like, Toby with more of a, like modern day, like he still has the old suit, but he puts on the modern day suit and he's just like, yeah, this feels right.
Jeez.
And Andrew is just like upside down, falls down, and he's in the new red and blue, and he's just like, got my size right.
Yeah.
But what's funny is that the guy that Andrew and Toby give Tom his, like, a version of their own old suits. So he hangs them up next to his suits, and he's just like, let's try the new ones on. And you see him, like, swing around in, like, Andrew or Tom's suit. Dude!
There's so many, there's an endless amount of possibilities, and it would be, I think, just really cool to see, like, just Toby back in any capacity, like, as Spider-Man. Because I think, everybody has, like, an opinion on who the best Spider-Man is.
Right.
I think Tom Holland is the best Spider-Man overall.
Yes.
But
still,
Toby has a very special place.
He was the first.
Yeah, I think Tom is the best, but I think Toby is my favorite.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. But,
Andrew is more of he's a favorite and the best.
Yeah.
But Tom really brings, like, the Peter and the Spidey personality more together.
Yeah, I agree than the other two do.
Andrew was more Spidey.
Toby was more Peter. And then Tom just kind of has, like, the perfect balance of the two.
He's just like,
Yeah.
I love the end of the first movie when Aunt May discovers he's Spider-Man. She says, "What the?" And his face goes like,
And it just cuts to the credits. It's perfect.
And you're just like, well, Pete's screwed.
Yeah. So we're super excited for Spider-Man 3. There's really not a lot of information to go off of. Just a lot of speculation. What do you guys think of Spider-Man 3 and how they're going to go about it? And what do you think would be the best, like, approach to everything? So, do you have anything else to add to Spider-Man 3?
No, we are good on that.
Okay. All right, guys. So before we get into our next topic, we're going to go take a little break for just 1 second. Thank you guys for listening so far. We'll be back in just 1 second. All right, we are back.
That was short.
We are refreshed, and we are ready to go for another 6 hours.
No, I got to work tonight.
Okay, that's true. Okay, so...
we'll finish out what we have, and then we'll continue on with life, and then our next podcast will be something entirely different.
Yeah, we'll go over some different stuff. Some similar topics, like...
But different.
Yes, but different. So, our next topic, taking a step away from Marvel to the other side, because you've kind of shown that you have an equal love for Marvel and its main rival, DC. So, one of the biggest things that DC has coming down the pipeline that people are super excited about, and it's honestly a miracle.
I've been begging for.
And it's honestly a miracle that it's even happening. But we're getting Zack Snyder's original vision for Justice League.
Yes.
And it's going to be releasing on HBO Max, I believe, in March.
Yes.
Now, so
no, go ahead.
We're definitely going to be doing a review on that.
And we're also going to be comparing. We're going to watch the one that came out in theatrical theaters.
Yes, we're going to watch
but the extended cut one.
Yes.
And then we're going to watch the HBO Max series. Or the HBO Max one.
Yeah, well, is it going to release episodically?
I don't know.
Whatever format it is, we're going to watch it, and we're going to do either a video or a podcast and discuss all the differences and kind of definitively be like, which one is better? Yeah. And I think just as a whole, just artistically, like, by default, I think Zack Snyder's is better.
No doubt.
Just for the reason that, like, it's going to be the true ending to his, like, trilogy, like, of Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and Justice League, because he had a vision for how it was going to all end up, and it just got completely scrapped.
Yeah.
So I'm pretty excited about that.
With this version, is it shots that he already did and weren't used in the movie, or shots that he had to redo?
So,
because I'm a little, because I know that it was Joss Whedon who finished directing it, right?
Yes, the guy that did the Avengers.
Yeah, I know Joss Whedon.
Joss. There you go. Yes. Joss
Whedon. He continued on, but I don't know if I know he reshot stuff.
He reshot
a good portion of the movie?
portion of the film.
Okay.
And as far as the HBO Max version of it, I'm actually not sure if they did any reshooting, but the majority of the money going into it was finishing visual effects.
Okay,
so they took all the original footage that he had, they cut it together, and then they had to spend a few million on the visual effects.
So the movie that we got in the theatrical version was already shot and everything, and had the visual effects and everything added onto it. The one that Zack Snyder is doing, everything was shot, but with his tragedy that happened during filming, they couldn't put post-production on it. They couldn't put the finishing touches on it yet without him there, like how he wanted to show the visuals and everything.
I think there's a few more things that needed to be shot, and the studio decided that they didn't think, they didn't like the direction that his movie was going, so they hired Joss Whedon to basically make it like a Marvel movie.
Yeah, and also to give Zack Snyder time to breathe. What happened? His daughter died?
Unfortunately, she committed suicide, and just his family had to step away. And I think it's kind of just a double tragedy that, like, his movie kind of got taken away from him too. Like, it wasn't, like, they didn't exactly honor what he wanted it to be, because they reshot, like, most of it. But
I'm not saying that the Justice League movie was bad, but it could have been better.
I think the time constraints that Joss Whedon had, he had to, like, rewrite most of the movie and reshoot, like, 80% of it, and then get the visual effects done. And he did that in, like, a stupid short period of time. That, like,
so it was rushed.
He genuinely did, like, the best he could have. So no disrespect to
Mr. Whedon, no. Because he's given us such amazing Marvel films.
I just rewatched the first Avengers a few days ago, and I was just blown away. Like, the writing, it's just top tier, if not the very best.
I think that DC was expecting, Joss Whedon to go dark, but he's done so many Marvel movies. He's like, how do I go back to that?
Yeah, he does a lot of lighter stuff. So Justice League was, like, a lot lighter.
But I'm excited to see Zack Snyder's cut because we get the black suited Superman. We get to see some of Aquaman's skills before the Aquaman movie. More in depth on Cyborg's character. And just more things that could have been that, was cut out of the movie. Certain scenes and all that.
Yeah, no, it's and we're gonna get to see Darkseid.
Yes,
we're actually gonna get to see him. I think Steppenwolf is definitely still the main villain.
Yeah, no, Steppenwolf is, but Darkseid. You remember the scene when they did like the reverse or the flashback in history? So they, I think Darkseid is the guy that comes onto Earth and fights, but is driven back, and instead of Steppenwolf like it is in the movie. So that could probably be it.
Okay, I gotcha.
But, you know, Darkseid's like, you know what? Last time I was down on Earth, there was a bunch of group of people that managed to drive me back. So, you know, we're going to try Steppenwolf. Why don't you head down on there first?
Which is really interesting because Darkseid is, like, super powerful.
Yeah. But even he knows, you know, tacticals. And we got to remember, he's also very young when he first tries to attack Earth, so he's not built up his like ruthless confidence. So he's still probably arrogant.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
I did like how they portrayed the Green Lantern that we saw for a brief minute in there.
That was dope. That was honestly,
good.
That whole flashback was probably my favorite part of the original movie. Was just seeing the Amazonians. However,
the Amazons, the Atlanteans, the Greek gods,
just seeing that all together, that was pretty damn
that was cool. And then you know everybody's like, "Oh, it's just Earth people." No, there's freaking aliens in it.
Yeah, no, that was
just to show the seriousness of it. That aliens are trying to stop Darkseid.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different
races there and everything.
People involved in
stopping him. Interesting fact, the Green Lantern that we see, you know how each Green Lantern protects a sector, and we're 2814?
Yeah.
And before Hal Jordan, Ivan Sur was the protector of Earth, okay? Well, the guy that we saw in the flashback was the protector of Sector 2814.
Oh.
So he was the fourth protector for 2814.
Interesting. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, that's something I wouldn't know about, but like the fact that they have little details about that is really freaking cool.
And sorry, I'm just covering this.
No, you're good.
The ring that Hal uses and that Abensur uses, and everyone that protects 2814. That ring is the first ring to ever make a construct.
What's a construct again?
Whatever a lantern imagine he creates.
Oh, yeah.
So, like, say I imagined a sword, it's a green sword, okay?
That's the idea of a construct, okay.
Yeah, so in Green Lantern history, they don't know who had the ring, but after a lantern dies, the ring goes out, chooses a worthy successor to protect that lantern space ring, or that sector.
Yeah.
The first lantern, because there was originally 5, but he's considered the first lantern because he's the first one to make a construct.
Okay.
Because, you know, everybody's like, oh, you can fire lasers out of it, or stuff like that. No, he was the first one to make a sword, shield, you know, use his imagination.
Yeah.
So he helped start up the ideology and everything with the Guardians of that govern the Green Lanterns. He helped started that up, and throughout the generations, his ring has found people who are worthy or like him.
Like he was the
first.
He was the first, so he set the example. Like he set the precedent for like what every one of them had to follow. Okay.
And what's funny is like the others were warriors, were military leaders. He was just a scribe.
That's really dope.
He was just this normal scribe. The ring came to him and was like, I'll pick you.
I'll pick you.
That's
really cool.
Because the ring's like, I'll pick you. Because there's something about you.
Yeah.
Something about you, kid.
Yeah.
So the ring picks him, goes on, and then he defeats this one big bad guy with the constructs, and it shows the other military lanterns that even the simplest job can lead to greatness.
So we're going to get a Green Lantern movie called Lord of the Rings?
Maybe. Funny joke. No.
No.
But, no.
It's, inappropriate.
But no, so the years pass, Absher crashes onto Earth, dies, and the ring is like, I've never picked a human before. Who am I going to pick? Mm-hmm. And the ring searches around for like hours upon hours, and it's like, there's no one here worthy. And then just see how it, like, just takes a look to the left, and it sees Hal, and it's just like, that seems very familiar. Mm. That just, like, energy seems very, very familiar. Mm-hmm. So that's why Hal has that ring.
Interesting.
And that's why there's so many Earth lanterns, is because the select few have the same instinct and same spark as the first lantern.
The very first. No, that's really interesting. I have yet to like really get into all the Green Lantern lore, so I appreciate you just kind of breaking it down a little bit,
covering that, yeah.
Like, because I don't know too much about it, but it is very interesting, and it's interesting to see what they're gonna do with the DC universe, and like if they're gonna do a Green Lantern movie. Personally, I'm like more excited for the kind of one-offs like Joker or the new Robert Pattinson Batman movie.
Yes.
Because
speaking of that, that's our next topic.
That's going to be our next topic, which we'll go to in a second. So it kind of feels like the Zack Snyder Justice League movie will not exactly be the end of the chapter, like an era. Mm-hmm. Like, they still have Wonder Woman and Aquaman and Flash. Like, they're still going to carry the stories on with them. But it does kind of feel like a nice close on the chapter. Hopefully.
Well, from Zack Snyder's directing.
Definitely for that.
But, we can still go either way.
Yeah. So, our next topic...
is Robert Pattinson.
Is Robert Pattinson.
Pattinson. Why did I say Patterson?
Patterson.
Robert Pattinson.
The Wright Patterson Air Museum. Yeah. No...
I think he's going to be a good Batman.
I do too. I think a lot of people, everybody always gets mad every time any casting decision is made.
But George Clooney is the exception.
Yeah, he was horrible.
George Clooney actually apologized for being Batman, so we give him mercy for his apology and we accept it.
I like George Clooney as an actor, but
that one was he's more Bruce Wayne than Batman.
He was more George Clooney.
True. He was more George Clooney than Bruce Wayne or Batman.
Yeah, he was just straight up like throwing credit cards out there. But yes, I think
that card. Don't leave home without it.
Yes. Have you seen any movies recently with Robert Pattinson that have improved your opinion of him?
I've seen a couple. What was the?
Did you see Tenet? Christopher Nolan's new movie.
I've seen part of it.
There's Tenet, The Devil All the Time,
right?
The Lighthouse, and he did one with the Safdie brothers, and he's just cranking out like insane performances.
Yeah, Robert Pattinson. Now, everybody's going to hate me because I say this, but if we, I know Twilight set him up and made him and everything like that, but if we exclude Twilight, he's actually a very committed and well done actor.
No, he's I think he's gotten a lot of respect from the film community. I mean, he straight up worked with Christopher Nolan.
Yep.
And a lot of big prominent directors.
And he kind of has the look of like a young Bruce Wayne.
That if you just watch that original trailer, which we can talk about like some of the troubled production stuff, but if you watch that original trailer and that last shot of him. Mm-hmm. Where like I love that he actually has like the mascara around his eyes because they always try to get away with that and that's stupid. Yeah. But they went with it and he looks like he looks like Bruce Wayne.
Yeah.
Like his hair's coming down and like the look in his eyes. I think he looks awesome.
Don't forget he was also in Harry Potter.
Yeah, he was awesome.
So I mean, you got Harry Potter, you got The Lost City of Z, The Devil.
I still need to see that.
Yeah. Good Times, The Lighthouse.
That's the movie I was talking about.
Tenet. But no, he's got a very good
track record.
Yeah, and I've seen some of the movies. Water for Elephants, the Harry Potter, and part of Tenet, which I understand. I read the plot of Tenet, so I know what's going on.
Yeah, but that probably makes more sense than the movie itself.
But, you're just like reading the plot, and you're just like, how does this fit?
I'm super excited. Not just about. I am excited for Robert Pattinson as Batman, but even more so, I'm excited for that movie because they have Matt Reeves.
Yes.
Doing it, and Matt Reeves did the War for the Planet. Well, the new Planet of the Apes trilogy, which he killed. Well, he did the last two. He didn't do the first one.
He killed.
He killed it, and he's a really solid director and writer, and I think he's gonna kill. He's gonna kill it. I think. They've had some really troubled shoots, and it's gotten delayed all the way to like 2022
because of COVID.
Because of COVID.
Dang.
That cursed word that we shall
19
try not to utter. It's just a reality, unfortunately, and it's just affected everything. Like we didn't get an MCU movie.
No, we didn't get an MCU movie. We didn't have the planning that we wanted. Mm-hmm. Nothing went straight, and it's gone all downhill.
Yeah, the world's been kind of upside down, so it's kind of stopped the movie business, and we might talk about that a little bit later.
Maybe.
But yeah, maybe. Might save that for another video. But I think Pattinson's gonna be great.
I also like how we're getting reintroduced to the Riddler and the Penguin in this one. It just seems right to bring those kind of villains back again.
Yep. I think, and we had Jim Carrey.
We had Jim Carrey and Danny DeVito,
but we've never had a serious
Riddler. Yeah.
And the guy, they could not have picked a better person.
Actually, the only serious Riddler that we've had is from the Gotham series.
Okay, yeah, I'll give you that. Which I'm not too familiar with, but
it's on Netflix.
Okay, I'll have to check it out.
Just recap: Gotham is like the right after, maybe
right after Bruce's parents die.
It takes place during that timeline. Yeah. And it shows us young Bruce Wayne slowly, gradually trying to find himself, grow up, and start his training. But we mainly focus on Jim.
Gotcha.
As he's trying to navigate the politics and the policy of
Gotham and stuff.
Of Gotham, and just try to figure out how he's going to have a life in this screwed up, messed up city.
Yeah. Before we move on to the next topic, I want you to give me your ranking of Batmans, of actors who have played Batman.
George Clooney is the very bottom.
Okay.
So George Clooney, Val Kilmer, was good.
Yeah, he was decent.
Little
off.
Little cartoony.
Yeah.
Small bits were cartoony, but other than that, he was good. We're talking live actors, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. George Clooney, Val Kilmer. Probably Ben Affleck. No. Probably Adam West.
Okay.
Just because the silliness of the 70s and everything.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Michael Keaton. So he's in the top 4.
Mm-hmm.
Or top 3. Christian Bale. It's a toss-up between him and Ben Affleck.
Okay. Yep.
Because Christian Bale, he brought, with Christopher Nolan, he brought a realism to Batman, okay? Yeah. And I love how, given the right circumstances, this could actually happen.
Yeah.
So it's this is really Batman.
Yeah.
In real life. This is not, some guy spending $40 million just out of the blue to do this. This is him gathering what he needs and finding out information and doing the dirty work and everything.
I like to think of the Dark Knight trilogy as this is what happened, and every other Batman story is inspired by what actually happened.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Because the first two are this could be real.
Yeah.
The third one gets just a little bit out there.
A little. It still falls into the realism, but it's
it gets
it's got to take a certain amount of circumstances to get to here.
Yeah, it's pretty extraordinary.
Yeah.
Which, you see some stuff in the real world, and it's like, okay, maybe it's not so far out.
You see 2020, and you're just like,
maybe this is more realistic.
Yeah. But like I said, you got Christian Bale's realism, and then Ben Affleck. You just have this perfect fighting.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Christian Bale could fight and everything, but it wasn't like brutal.
Mm-hmm.
Where
Ben Affleck's bad.
Ben Affleck is, oh gosh, he reminds me of the Dark Knight Returns Batman.
Yeah,
which is what they wanted. Yeah, but more brutal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a scene where he breaks a guy's arm on the warehouse scene, where he breaks the guy's arm on the box. He throws the grenade in the elevator.
He punches a dude, like a dude is down, like his head is down. And he punches the guy so hard down that his head goes right through the floor.
And his body just like comes up.
It's just like, oh my gosh.
He punches through a wall, grabs the guy, and Batman doesn't use guns, but he's got the guy's arm on the gun, like holding it up.
Which this Batman, I mean, it's like he will kill you.
He
kills people.
Well, sure. Yeah, but I'm saying he only uses a gun because it's Martha.
Yeah.
Which is, his mom's name and Bruce's. Or Superman's mom's name, so.
I would agree with your list, but I would definitively put Christian Bale at the top for me.
Right. But that's what I'm saying. Like, Christian Bale and Ben Affleck are at the top.
Yeah.
It's just, like, hard to choose which one I like more.
But I love Ben Affleck as Batman.
I know, right?
I still, a lot of people are like, but it's like, no, go watch. Like, Batman v Superman is not perfect.
No.
But
it did him justice, though. It did him so much justice.
But Ben Affleck as Batman, like, he
killed it.
He did an incredible job. I think he was the best part of that movie.
My other favorite part in Batman vs Superman is when he's interrogating Lex Luthor in the cell.
Oof.
And he's just got all the lights blacked out and his alarms going. Mm-hmm. And you think he's going to brand him like he does in the movie, or the rest early in the movie, but he just leaves the symbol on the wall like he's learned he can be better because Superman told him.
Yeah.
But still, it's just that scene that he could have killed Lex.
Yeah. We just had a buddy that just came in. So
yeah.
Don't mind that. But yeah, no, that was the character arc of the movie, was that he was cruel and Superman showed him like,
there's a better way.
There's a better way, and then by the end of the film, he's still scary.
Oh God,
he's arguably scarier.
That man will be scarier than ever.
Which that's Batman's traditional, like fear. True. Doesn't mean he needs to kill people, but so Ben Affleck was good as Batman.
But there's also a little bit of comedy to it, to when at the end of Justice League, Clark's just like, I thought the bank had it. I bought the bank. And you're just like, wait, what?
It's like, can you do that? I haven't seen Justice League since you and I saw it in 2017. Was it 2017?
I think so.
So, it's been a minute since it's been a hot minute since I've seen it. So I need to go back and watch, which we'll watch the original before we watch.
Yeah. But that was also like a brotherly moment, like confirming like, they view each other like brothers.
The scene I remember most from that movie was the Flash and Superman racing at the end.
Yeah, it's just like, so if I win, you'll tell people, right? It's like, yeah. And what if you win? You hang up the costume. That's a joke, right? That's a joke, right? And you're just like, oh.
That was very much a Joss Whedon.
That was a Josh Whedon line.
Joss Whedon joke. But yeah, that's good. Okay, so moving on to the next topic. Let's transition into the CW, Superman and Lois. I have nothing to say about this.
Okay.
I know nothing. I'm kind of an...
You're a virgin at this.
No, I watched Smallville.
Not the same.
Watched all through Smallville because it was good.
Yes.
And everything else is trash. That's my opinion. Anyway, I have not been a fan of anything the CW has done.
And this is why I'm going to educate you.
Okay. In a reasonable time.
Yes.
Limit.
So you know that the CW has created their own DC universe.
Yes, I do know.
Which is amazing. Trust me.
Okay.
So
just like the new Batgirl. It's so amazing.
What? Batwoman.
Batwoman, whatever.
Batwoman,
I've
not
heard it.
Louise.
It literally looks like the worst show I've ever seen.
It's not, but you gotta know the backstory.
Okay. But yeah, sorry, I didn't mean that.
Okay, so the CW's created their own DC universe.
Yeah.
So there's the show Supergirl, and we know Supergirl, Superman. All right. When the Avengers had their snap, the DCU universe had their own kind of snap deal, and because of that, Oliver Queen died. Superman and Lois had 2 sons instead of 1.
Yeah.
And everything in the world changed to where all the multiverse merged into one world. So the Superman and Lois picks up when the boys are teenagers. They don't know who their dad is. Like, Clark has kept a secret from them. The Daily Planet is out of business for some weird reason. Superman and Lois moved back to the Kent farm. Though it's always been like their summer away from their home away from home, they're now living there. So the boys have to adjust to getting used to country life, everything like that. And, with them unknowingly they have powers, they start feeling like outcasts because they've been raised in the cities for so long. So we're seeing Lois and Superman just handle daily challenges of being in the country while also, trying to explain to the boys that your dad's Superman. Yeah. So, I mean,
it's an interesting
it's an interesting story
take on the character because you got to switch it up and kind of get different.
I'll show you the trailer after we're done with this.
Okay.
But Superman's just like he's struggling with the dad side, with the superhero side, also with the reporters. So it's just it's not like, oh, Superman's gonna be so good at it. It's just like Superman's a dad.
Yeah, so like
he's got.
How does he balance
work,
Superman
life, family, and Superman at the same time?
Okay, so that's an interesting concept. I might have to. When is that coming out?
Oh gosh, soon I think.
Okay. Well, I might have to check that out.
But recently, like actor-wise, Henry Cavill's still the top for me. Christopher Reeves, and then the actor who they have for the TV show.
Okay.
It's good.
Very good. Okay.
But yeah, it's on the CW, and it's going to be good.
Okay. So for the sake of time, we're going to have to wrap up here in a minute. But we're going to kind of merge a few of the topics that we're going to talk about. The next topic we're going to talk about is just kind of we talked a little bit about it, like where's DC going to go? Do you think we covered that adequately, or do you want to talk more? I think we're good.
Yeah, it's just, I'd like to see more of them not trying to create a universe like Marvel and other places have tried to create. Just more, if they do a crossover, just, have it kind of like small, not too big.
A little bit more subdued.
Yeah.
Because I think DC might have something with just the standalone, like Joker,
Batman, and Wonder Woman.
Yeah, I think they could do really well by just telling really cool stories.
Yeah.
Hopefully they just do that. I guess really the last topic, if that wasn't it, was just like,
where do we see ourselves in movies and TVs, like viewing and everything like that?
Yeah, like
I know how your mind works, man.
Well, yeah, it's like what you don't have to talk about that. That could be like a whole other discussion.
Well, just briefly, just cover it, and I think
it's interesting, like where are movies and everything going? Because like HBO Max is gonna like release all of their movies
at the same time as the theater.
And Christopher Nolan straight up left Warner Brothers over that because he's like, I'm not working with you because you're going to destroy the movie theater. Mm-hmm. And it looks like that might be happening anyway. So how do you think that's going to go?
I think with streaming services, that would work for people who are sick or something like that. But, before the whole COVID-19 lockdowns and everything, I actually enjoyed going to the movies. It meant escaping from day-to-day life just for an hour or two, just to watch your favorite actor on the screen. And if we get out of this whole lockdown and everything, then we might go back to normal, which I'm not going to say it because you know what I'm going to say. But just hoping that we can get back to some normality here soon.
Yeah.
To where the bars start opening, to where people can actually be, people without having to worry about 6 feet or mask or anything like that. I wanted to go back to 2019 before it went sunny side up.
Yeah, I don't, which this is, it's just a whole thing. It's like, not just movies, but like, where's everything going? Just like in the future and everything, and it can be a little dark and everything. But I'm hopeful. I think that just in the limited sense that we're talking about movies and stuff, that hopefully movies will survive. Hopefully physical media doesn't die.
Yeah.
Because the real reason we're talking about this is because if everything goes to streaming, that means less money for productions. It means less money for films, and it changes everything up. It means you won't get the same kind of stories. It means you won't get the same kind of quality. Really, at the end of the day, it affects the quality of what's coming, and that doesn't just affect like superhero movies. It affects all movies and the kind of entertainment that we have. So hopefully
we get back to normal here soon.
Yeah, just in every sense of the word. But
now if they were like, we're doing these shows because they tie in with the movies, that's fine.
Yeah, like WandaVision's awesome.
Yeah, like WandaVision, the Falcon and Winter Soldier, and those series are tying into the movies.
Which is great. But like, I want Spider-Man 3 to be like a great film. I don't want it to be
streamed to the
like
house.
A TV show.
Yeah.
Like, Yeah. So hopefully that's not where everything's going to go, but yeah, I think that's good. I think we covered a good amount of stuff, and we had a blast doing this, and hopefully you guys enjoyed it and had a good time with everything. So
don't forget, if you have any more questions, just leave them in the comments. If you want us to talk about something, or like Zach, if you didn't realize something was there, like with the Spider-Man 2 Easter egg. Just let us know in the comments. Be nice, be courteous, be kind.
If we inevitably messed up on anything, you guys can fact check us and put it down there. Be like, hey, you messed up on this because Aaron's constantly trying to better his knowledge in this area. I'm just a fan, but
Zach's just like, I just like it. I'm over here like, it is what it is.
I'm like a film lover.
Yeah.
And comic books falls into that for me. Like, Aaron loves comic books. I love comic book movies, if that makes sense. So.
And no, I love comic book movies as well.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man is like my comic, like my Spider-Man comic book, if that makes sense.
Yeah, it's like whenever you read a Joker comic, you can only hear Mark Hamill.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But, so yeah, guys, thank you for listening, watching. We're going to try to get this across a variety of platforms here soon, and we're going to try to get another one up before too long. Let us know if you guys think this is good, if you have any suggestions. This is the first podcast we've done together, and
hopefully we do more.
So yeah, any feedback will be useful and wanted. So
please give us feedback.
Constructive criticism. So yeah,
nothing negative.
We'll see how that goes.
We're trying to end this, but we keep saying something and it continues on long.
Oh yes,
this is our problem, man. We start talking and we don't know when to be quiet.
Don't know when to stop. This is what we've done since we were kids.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably been one of those things that. I mean, this is one of the things that
Aaron just leaned over and whispered something to me, and I didn't hear what he said. What did you say?
Pause, interrupt me whenever you want to, just to end it.
So Alright, so I'm going to stop Aaron right here.
No, like, as I'm talking, just turn it off, so that way they know when to stop and, stop.
No, I was just saying goodbye. Thank you all for watching and listening to this.
And we love you.
Have a great one.
And survive.
Yes. Goodbye.
Bye.